Hey guys, welcome back to the Chaotic Kids channel, where I'm Michelle and making fantasies come true, one story at a time. And today we're going to be kind of doing like mid-month check-in chat time. Mostly because I didn't record anything for this week. I'm actually recording this on the 13th of July. I plan on having this video posted on the 16th. I just haven't had time I tried to record all of last week. Wasn't really happening. I planned on having a Tuesday video that was about my new update for my life goal, but I'm struggling with that, so I'm like, I don't know about that, which we'll talk about. And then on Thursday, I was planning on doing a reading video, because it was, this weekend. But that didn't happen because I had a lot of things happening, so it was just all happening, like everything was happening. But I feel weird if I don't have something posted this week, besides the book review on Sunday, but I'm like, okay, we need to at least have something for Thursday. Also, I would like to say I got my hair cut. It was getting pretty long. Like, I have hair trauma. Like, there was a point in my life, during middle school, I used to have really long hair. My mom, like, me and my mom, I would grow out my hair. My mom would schedule an appointment for it to get cut, and I would donate it to Lots of Love. I did this for, ever since, I think since at a certain age, I've done it for such a long time. I don't do it anymore, mostly because, I get overheated very easily, and having long hair just makes it even hotter. So I just like having short hair. Honestly, if it wasn't for my dad and him, having a kind of... He doesn't like the idea of girls having shaved heads. Honestly, I think this hair right now, how short it is probably too short in his opinion. But I didn't care. But if I had my way, fully, I think this is somewhat, towing the line, but if I were to shave my head like I really want to, Dad would probably be very, very angry at me. But honestly, my dream idea for hair is just having it shaved. Not to the scalp, but giving it a buzz cut, pretty much. But that'll be something that'll happen after he dies, because I don't want to get disowned. But anyways, we're going to talk about a couple things today. I'm gonna first dive into some books that I'm my reading updates and stuff. So at the beginning of this month, I bought 3 new books. One of which was one that I already did a book review on, or kind of just had a chit chat about. It was only a 4-minute clip, 4-minute video, but it was The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie, The Daughter's Quest to Freedom. This one, I just picked up and read. I read it in 2 days. It was a really, really insightful read. And I also, when it came to Sherry's writing, which I'm pretty sure she had a ghostwriter for, but the ghostwriter did an amazing job of, I feel putting it in Sherry's perspective, or writing it with the thing, I don't know. I felt as though I felt really connected with Sherry, with her, depression, and also a little bit of her anxiety, but just, I didn't have the same life as her. I just relate to how she felt in moments, and how she had this super, she had this, protectiveness when it came to our siblings. I have that with my siblings, but my situation's different because I'm the youngest, while she's the oldest. But we still feel this deep-rooted, we have to protect our siblings. Maybe that's why I take care of my brother so much. My younger brother. He's older than me, but younger than the other. I clean his house because he's too lazy. I was there whenever the plumbers had to work on the house. I take care of him. Even though part of me is, doesn't want to. Because I'm he's a grown adult. He doesn't need my help. But I think that's a lot of my, multiple personalities when it comes to things, because I want to help, but at the same point, I'm it's not my place to help because I'm the youngest. I don't know. And that boy just needs help. Anyways, so another book that I picked up was part of the National Park Mystery series. This is by Aaron Johnson. This is book 1. It is called The Mystery in the Rocky Mountains National Park. This one basically is a middle grade. It's not basically, it is a middle grade. So a little information about it is, before leaving on a 2-month summer vacation, Jake Evans finds a gift from his deceased grandfather that will lead him on a scavenger hunt through 10 of America's most rugged, wild, and beautiful national parks. So this is a 10-book series which has secret clues, lost landmarks, secret codes, lost landmarks, hidden clues, and real locations. This book I kind of picked up because it's kind of more gender neutral, but also I think like a little more masculine, not masculine, but boy related book, like a book a boy would read. Which is something I'm wanting to like pick up books to eventually give to my nephew and be like, hey, I think you would enjoy this kind of thing. Another reason I picked it up was obviously for my littles to read. Littles for me are my children alters. They're not actually children, they're just younger age. But this one also is because national parks were such a huge thing for my family. My dad would take us, ever since I was little, we would go on family vacations to different national parks around the United States. Typically, we always headed towards like Utah, because I think dad really prefers the Utah area set, like how it looks in the scenery. But there was a few times we headed out east, I think. Is that the right direction? Yeah. But that's kind of how everything kind of came out. And I remember Rocky Mountains pretty well. Sort of. But it was just I just wanted to pick it up and read it. It sounded interesting. And I also have this idea to possibly write a book series, that has to deal with the Oregon Trail, like having, I don't want to give too much away, but like having a character who gets kind of like, she's on vacation, like there's 2 families. They go on vacations together. They take RVs. They go down the Oregon Trail. And this girl just happens to get, like, knocked unconscious or something like that. I do girl characters mostly, but that might change now. And that story might be more of a male. But how, like, actually, I think it fits best for girl because there was going to be like a romance or like a best friend situation that might turn into a romance later on, like if I were to continue the series like into a young adulthood. But so that's okay. Sorry, I'm getting off track here. But they followed the Oregon Trail, but the girl is in in her, like, it's more of a dream state book in this coma. Like, she's traveling her and her family are doing the Oregon Trail, but she's in a different time. Like, it's taking place in the history rather than in the current moment, if that makes sense. I don't know if this is making sense, but I have an idea for an Oregon Trail story that might tie into other national parks and stuff. The third book that I bought, getting back on track here, is A Place to Belong by Melissa. I don't know. Alyssa, I don't know. This is part of the Willow Creek story. This is a young adult Christian romance. A little thing about it is A Place to Belong is a soul-stirring, faith-filled story of healing, hope, and the joy of discovering your calling in the most unexpected places. Perfect for fans of small-town communities, clean romance, and faith-filled women's fiction. And for anyone who could use the reminder that God has great plans for you too. So that is this book. Wanted to pick up more more Christian fiction books. So those are the 3 books that I read. I'm picking up. I will also say in this kind of like reading section, I decided, hold on, let me get my books out. Sorry, you couldn't hear me. Let me get my books out that I'm currently reading. I'm still reading A Mere Shadows and The Princess Swap. The Princess Swap, I think I'm going to finish within pretty soon. I want to finish this book before I continue. I don't know. This one I'm wanting to kind of finish. I did find out some secrets about the story. Some things that I kind of had an anticipation for, but I read a couple I just happened to flip to a different page and I was like reading the first page of this chapter, and I was like, oh no, this person is this person, and I'm like, aw, because it all has to deal with the princess stories. But this one I'm hoping to finish probably, if not during this week, then next week, this weekend, just finish that book up just to have it done. I'm also restarting the Unbound book. I'm currently on chapter 5. I've been either reading the Unbound book or the Complex PTSD book at night. I take it into my room once I call it quits for the day. I take it into my room and just highlight or take notes about it, and kind of associate it more with a nighttime routine, just so I'm continuing to read them rather than just reading it, kind of forgetting about it until the next week kind of thing. That's kind of all I wanted to update you guys about books. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, and we are going to get kind of into the more serious topic of my 5-year goal kind of situation, because I've been having a dilemma and I want to talk it out with somebody. So I'll be right back, okay? Okay, guys, now let's get into kind of the dilemma that I've been having. So recently, I had a conversation with one of my alters. If you guys do not know, I'm somebody with multiple personalities, or some sort of dissociative disorder, resulting in me in having multiple parts, alters, personalities, whatever you want to call them. 4 of which you guys primarily see on this channel. Well, 2 of which you see on this channel, I feel like a lot. Well, maybe 1. But I have 4 different pen names or different authors in my system that write books. They're Shelley, Grace, Maris, and Marianne. Grace writes my young adult Christian fiction books. Marianne is going to be writing my picture books about different saints. Maris wants to write a high fantasy series. And then Shelley writes my Bugstopia books, which are up there, which are my middle grade children's chapter books. And as of recently, I was like, oh, I have this goal to be a sister in 5 years. And with that, I was kind of more directing my attention to more Christian content, or dividing my time more into Christian value things, only writing pretty much in Grace's book, which again is a young adult novel. And then I was doing a lot more prayer time, which isn't something bad. I was just primarily the only issue was primarily working only on Grace's books, while kind of almost forcing Shelley and all Shelley's books and also Marianne's ideas into a closet and pretty much closing the door, wanting to close that chapter out of my life. Excuse me. And one of my alters, I'm not going to say her name, she was she was talking about how she feels bad for Shelley and Maris, and was like, I want to talk to them. And at the time, we were all kind of we do journaling sessions to send to our therapist. And when we do these journaling sessions, primarily a lot of us have our doors open, which we could do a whole conversation about our inner headspace. But basically, our inner headspace, or where we all meet, is centered around pretty much our office setting, having a table with a computer on the desk, and we can interact with it, and that'll decide who is out and about, not who decide, but whoever's at the control of the computer is the one who is verbally talking and stuff. While the other ones kind of have rooms that aren't connected to the inner headspace, but they have doors and windows, kind of like a hotel setting. But they're more they can choose if they're going to listen in, or they can be no, I'm not going to close the windows, not see anything either. But around that time, everyone was open, like everyone was listening. We had also been pretty mean and not talking to them for a while, which caused a lot of trauma as well. And basically, this headmate, or altar, whatever you want to call them, I'm gonna call it a headmate. They were like, Shelly, what's going on? Like, we can tell that you're kind of withdrawn. What's going on, kind of. And Shelly talked about how she feels like she's being cast out and feeling as if her work is now not valid at all, especially considering that we had this goal to be a sister. And she's like, she pretty much was like, I don't think becoming a sister is the right thing for us. Like, yes, she acknowledges, like, we are in such a better headspace now that we are more open to our religion, getting back into our faith, reading Christian books, reading the Bible, doing the rosary and stuff. Like, all that is such a great thing. It impacts us so awesomely. And even doing the Unbound group with the local ladies, like, everything about it is such a joy in our life. And it makes us feel whole. But she's like, you can't just cast me out and, like, put me in a drawer and forget about me, because, like, at the end of the day, she is part of me. Like, Shelly, we wouldn't be who we are if it wasn't for Shelly. Also, Shelly is a part of the whole system. Like, you can't just cast out this part because you don't want to be connected to that part anymore, you know? Like, we're a dynamic character. Well, I say character, but we're a dynamic being. Like, you can't just cast out a part of us and expect us to not have repercussions for it, kind of thing. And so we've been really hit by that. Like, it did feel like we were casting her out, especially casting out Maris as well. And something important to note about Maris is, like, Maris has all these, what we call little Marises. Like, they're smaller people who look like Maris, and they all flock to Maris, and they're all authors or, like, influence the stories as well. But they're just, I don't know, they're just not as fully fledged altars as the rest of us. But that doesn't mean that they're not, like, eventually going to become. For example, Marianne, she was a fusion between a part of Grace and a part of Maris. Like, one of those little Marises and part of Grace combined to fuse to make Marianne. And, like, it would be weird if we cast out part of like, if we were to cast out Maris, who then all the little altars of Maris would go with her, because that is pretty much their mother duck, kind of, in a way. And that was causing Marianne some discomfort, because that little part of Maris that fused together wanted to go with Maris, because she didn't feel safe, kind of thing. I didn't realize that until now. But it was like, okay, we know that, like, religion is still a huge part of us. But we also know that Shelly, Maris, and Marianne, and all the other altars who are not exactly prone to becoming religious sisters, like, okay with it, are like, they just don't know if it's right for us. And at the same point, like, we do feel the calling to become a sister. And it's really hard for us right now, because we're like, we feel called to it, but also parts of us are not called to it. And I think that's going to be a problem for us probably for the rest of our life, of being, like, divided, feeling as if part of us wants this, part of us wants that, and there's never going to be a central ground that we stand for. Well, not stand for, but, like, a central ground that we all agree on. Even though, like, I would say, I feel like with writing is kind of our central ideal. Like, that is the core sense of us. Like, writing is what makes us the most happy and feel most connected with each other. And so basically what I'm getting at is, so I don't know if you guys know, but we've kind of done a little rebranding in a way. Not much, but, like, the introduction of this video, I'm pretty sure is going to have, like, the classic, like, welcome to the Chaotic Kids channel, making fantasies come true, one story at a time. I think that's what the title slide says. But before it used to say Christian fiction author. Now it doesn't even say that underneath the Chaotic Kids channel. Because whenever we were identifying as a Christian fiction author, that was centrally, like, only being this one thing, while we're not just that one thing, you know, like, we are a genre, like, multifaceted genre author who does different age ranges. It's not just young adult Christian, and it's not just Catholic saint books. And so we kind of brought this up to our therapist, and she was like, I would agree, you're not really meant to be a sister, but at the same time, we felt so called, and I don't honestly know what this means exactly for us. Originally, we were like, okay, we're just gonna take, like, we're not gonna put our, like, we might become a sister, but we're not gonna put, like, a 5-year time frame on it. We're just going to live our life. And that's honestly so true. We're just gonna live our life how we want to live it. As things come about, we'll address it. And honestly, like I said, like, we do feel called to become a sister. But I don't know if joining a convent's the right thing. And we brought this up to a priest, and he was like, I think what you need to do is go to different convents and talk to them. Like, get in contact with somebody and be like, hey, I feel called to it. I don't know how this and my writing connect together, kind of thing. And, you know, when we originally were thinking about our 5-year goal, our new 5-year goal to become a full-time author, we were like, okay, what if we were to also, like, I think our introduction, like, to the channel, like, our little description on the main channel is basically becoming a full-time author in 5 years with a storefront. And that's a possibility, like, becoming a business owner that not, like, kind of has what Soul Provider was for us, like, a place to come in, just decompress while being in the presence of God in a way. They didn't have, like, a Eucharist there. It was just, like, feeling welcomed and warm, kind of like a church, but in a different sense. And we would love to have this community form, especially locally, for, like, kids to have this place to feel welcome, feel encouraged to be who they are, rather than feeling the pressure of the world, if that makes sense. And we would love to have this in local towns, like, besides just our one that's, like, we always go to, but, like, have it a local little community, like, have it, like, little storefronts, like, or just having, like, I don't know, but just having these, like, local areas for people to come in, have conversations, maybe sell some things, but really have this place for people to form a community, like, people with like-minded situations and stuff. Yeah, that's kind of an ideal we've been having. So with this, like, whole 5-year goal, not 5-year goal, but idea to become a full-time author with a storefront and stuff, we decided to write out a schedule of our daily plan, which I think we will do. Maybe the next video or next 2 videos, I don't know, we'll have, like, our day in the life of a full-time possible author storefront. I don't know. But we're kind of going through some stuff of, like, what we want. Like I said, we want to be a sister, but we also feel so called to each of our parts and what they want. And we don't think that's meant to just be a sister, if that makes sense. Yeah, so we're just going through some things. Content-wise, it might be a little hard for right now because we are so conflicted. It's also summer. It's hot. We're going to see family. We're having to mow our grass. Like, today, we're supposed to mow our grass. And we're just like, it's going to be hot, kind of thing. And our lawnmower hates us. But there's just things and situations going on that we're not really sure about. So we're going to be working through it. I hope you guys will stick around for the journey. Yeah. we'll just figure out what's gonna happen. Yeah, but I do hope you guys will stick around for this journey. If this content made sense to you guys, and I hope it did, I hope you guys will like the video. I also know it was very rambly towards the end because I was kind of fading out. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like I said, my fantasy is kind of changing, like my fantasy ideas for my future. But as a story and like as an author, I do continue want to make my fantasies come true. And I hope you guys will continue to make your fantasies come true, one story at a time, okay? And I will see you guys next time with the next video. And I hope you guys all have a lovely day, okay? So I'll see you guys later. Bye.